Now let us discuss about various kinds of loops in Python. The first loop that we are going to discuss is for loop. Now in for loop, it iterates over a sequence. So I can tell for I in 1 to 10, and then I will get values 1, and then next iteration it will get the value 2, third iteration it will get the value 3, and so on. And I can execute the body of the for loop that many times as the I gets the values. So basically, the val help the number of values in the sequence will help me to have those many number of iterations, and this loop will continue till I reach the last item. So uh, this is the flow chart of the for loop. For each item in the sequence, I will check if the last item is reached. If the last item is not reached, it will perform the body of the for loop. Otherwise, if the last item is reached, it will come out of the loop. Let us see one example. Program to find the sum of all numbers. So here I have a list, and initially a list of numbers here. Initially, I declare a variable sum equal to 0. For val in numbers, so number has 9 values. Okay, 6, 5, 3, 8, 4, 2, 6, 5, 4, 11. Val will get these values for each of the iteration. First, it will get 6 value, then it will get 5 value, 3, and so on. So it will get 9 different kinds of values. And sum equal to sum plus val. So initially, the value of that val variable will be 6. Now we are supposed to execute the right hand side here and assign the value to the left hand side here. So 0 plus 6 will give me 6. So sum gets the value 6. After that, the next value for val is 5. Sum was 6, 6 plus 5, 11. The new value of sum will be then 11. Then 11 plus 3, it will give me 14. 14 plus 8, 22, and so on. Finally, once all the items in the list are iterated over, I will get the sum as 48. This will be the output. Now let us consider while. Now while is includes a condition. So till the condition is true, the body of the while loop gets executed. Once the condition of is false, I come to the next statement after the body of the loop. So this is basically a while loop. Let us see an example for while loop. So this is the flow chart. I test the expression. If it is false, I move to the next statement. If it is true, I execute the body of the loop and again check the test expression. So let us consider uh, an example. Here, I want to add numbers till n, 1, 2, 3, so on till n. I ask the user, either I can ask the user to enter the value or I can initialize some value. Anything is appropriate. So as you can see here, n equal to int of input of enter n. Now this will uh, assign whatever the user gives to n, but this is commented. I am just initializing it to n equal to 10, and I also initialize sum equal to 0, and I also give I is equal to 1 since I want to start counting from 1, adding from 1, while I less than equal to n. So I initialize. Now how can I go about developing this program? I need to have a loop. I also need a variable which will store 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. So here I have some, I also have an I. I is nothing but initially it will take the value 1, then it will take the value 2, and so on. I say the loop will have two statements, sum is equal to sum plus I, and then I'm incrementing I is equal to I plus 1. So I check if 1 less than equal to 10, condition is true. Sum equal to sum plus I. So here 0 plus 1 will assign the value 1 to sum. I will then become 2. After that the condition gets checked again. 2 less than equal to 10. Sum is equal to 1 plus 2. It will have the value 3 which gets assigned to sum. I becomes 3. 3 plus 3 gives me 6. I becomes 4 and this goes on. Finally, when it becomes 10, 10 less than equal to 10, condition is true. It gets added up to the sum. And then I is equal to 11. 11 less than equal to 10, condition is false. This statement gets printed, which is the sum is 55. One important thing to remember in while loop is we should initialize the value, and there will also be a change in the counter variable. So we should always increase or decrease. Either it can be an increment loop or it can be a decrement loop. Whatever may be the case, we should adjust the value of the counter variable in the loop. Otherwise, it will result in an infinite loop. An infinite is a never ending loop, the one that does not stop. So let us consider a few more examples with loops. So write a program to find numbers which are divisible by 7 and multiple of 5. So that is the number has to be divisible by 7 and also a multiple of 5. We use the modulo operator here. So modulo operator, modulo with 7 and modulo with 5. If it gives me 0 answer with both, I take it to be included in the answer. Okay, so now this can be done in various ways. Here I am including a list, and in that list I'm including the that answer, and then finally I'm printing everything in the list format. So I initialize NL is equal to a list for x in range 1200 to 22 not 1. Now in range the last number does not get included, and I want to check for 2200 also. So I say the range is from 1200 to 22 not 1, because I want to include 2200 also. Now x initially gets the value 1200, then it gets 12 not 1, then it gets 12 not 2, and so on. Now for each and every x value, I will check if it is divisible by both. If it is divisible by both, I append the answer to the list. NL dot append str of x. I'm appending it to the list. And finally, when I want to print the list, I can just print NL, or I can also use the join operator. Now, join operator will help me to print all the numbers with a comma in between. So this gives me the output. Let's see the next example. So here I want to check if the number is prime or not using while loop. I ask the user to enter the number and then I typecast it to an integer. I also declare a flag variable. Now, flag variable, if it becomes true, that means I found a number which was divisible. Otherwise, if it remains to be false, that means the number is not prime. So here, if num is greater than 1, if the number that I'm checking for is greater than 1, then I perform a series of steps. Now, what are those steps? So how do I check if the number is prime? A number is prime if it is not divisible by any of the lower numbers. So I check the number. Let's just consider if the number is 7. I will start checking from 2 onwards. 7 modulo 2, is it giving me 0? 7 modulo 3, is it giving me 0? 7 modulo 4, is it giving a 0? and like this. So if I get it to be 0, then I set the flag variable as true, indicating that a factor is found, and I break out of the loop. Now break will transfer the control to the next statement after the for loop. And outside the for loop, I will check if flag was true. If flag was true, that means a factor was found, so it is not a prime number. Otherwise, it is a prime number. So here, for initially consider, if I have 7 as the input for I in range 2 comma 7, so it will get 2 comma 7. 7 will anyways not get included. It will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So initially I value will be 2, then it will be 3, then it will be 4, 5, 6. 7 modulo 2, it is not 0. 7 modulo 3, it is not 0. 7 modulo 4, not 0. 7 modulo 5 is not 0. 7 modulo 6 is not 0. So flag never becomes true. It is false, and then it prints 7 is a prime number. Let us consider the example of 6. So for 6, I will get the possible I values as 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 modulo 2, 0, yes. Flag becomes true. So flag value is now true. Break, it comes out of the loop. It checks the statement. If the flag is true, then it prints it's not a prime number. So here 6 is not a prime number will get printed.